Hey everybody, Jody Dean here, and in this video I'm going to talk about ayahuasca and spiritual awakening. So stay tuned. My name's Jody Dean. I help you with your spiritual awakening journey, with navigating your soul purpose, and with unique expression of who you really are. So welcome to my channel if you haven't been here before. So yeah, in this video, let's get right into it. Ayahuasca. So it's something that obviously is trending. Many people have taken ayahuasca these days. Not everyone by a long shot, but many of the young and curious, and some of the older and more curious even, have been sampling the delights of Mother Ayahuasca, as they call it. And ayahuasca is this plant from the Amazon, let's say. It's a plant that is two different plants mixed together. It's a kind of mix, and it's known as the vine of the soul. It contains DMT that gets activated with the combination of this plant with another, and it's called the spirit molecule. The DMT inside ayahuasca that's active is called the spirit molecule, and for good reason. So you may have had ayahuasca, you may have been on ayahuasca journeys, or you may have an insatiable desire to try it or to know more about it. You may have felt that ayahuasca has called you, or you may be completely on the fence about it, or you may even be skeptical. You may have heard bad stories. You may have heard of people doing ayahuasca journeys and going to ceremonies and then having breakdowns. And this is the thing with the awakening process, is that too much too soon, too quickly, can cause a lot of problems, can cause you to freak out, because we haven't done the inner work, we haven't done the grounding work, we haven't done the preparation so that we can fly high with the roots going right down. And this is a lot of the problem with a lot of things, not just plant medicines, other experiences, other radical techniques and methodologies, is that if you don't prepare yourself, if you don't do the inner work, if you're new to it all, you're bound to have a lot of trauma that comes up, and it can be very difficult to deal with, especially if you suppressed it all your life, like most people have, for one reason or another. Unless they've been on a long healing journey, then it's suppressed, and so suddenly it comes up and you're like, oh my god, where has this all come from? I am confused, I'm disorientated, I'm scared, I'm terrified. In fact, it's painful. Why isn't my life working? I'm depressed, etc, etc, etc. And this is what can happen. And so in terms of the spiritual awakening aspect of all of this, some people have ayahuasca journeys, and it's like a light goes on where they suddenly see for the first time that there's more to life than this 3D material construct. Because ayahuasca helps to thin the veil, ayahuasca has an effect where we are able to see beyond the veil at times through the plant medicine, through the action of DMT and other chemicals. We get this experience where suddenly the 3D is no longer 3D. The material, the matter, is no longer so physical and solid, and we start to see other realms, other beings, spirits. We get in contact with memories from the past that were trapped. We get in contact with emotions, again, that have been suppressed. And it's like this light going on, but at the same time, if it's too much and too fast and too quick, then it can be very discombobulating. And so I know several cases of people like that, individuals who have taken ayahuasca and they hadn't done any inner work before, and it was such a crazy radical shift of their perception where they suddenly got thrown in the deep end and suddenly had to deal with all their trauma. It's like, oh my god, it's right there. It's like all of this that happened in my childhood I never looked at. all of these things I did. You might even have past life, other life things come up, and if there's no preparation, then what you going to do? It's like you have to go and sit an exam, at university, and you haven't even taken the first class. It's like, it's that kind of difference. And spiritual awakening in itself can be very testing and challenging. That's not going to lie. The whole idea of the dark night of the soul. I had a comment in another video I did around spiritual awakening, and there was a comment which was like, "Oh, that wasn't like it for me. You make it sound so nice." I had a really dark night of the soul, and that's absolutely true. And I had to kind of explain that I'm just touching on, basic elements of the spiritual awakening journey, and it's actually very multidimensional. And it's only really in a 10-minute video, you can only really touch on very superficial aspects, because there's a whole world in there. There's a whole reality, volumes, library full of possibilities when it comes to the awakening process. And so let's not get ahead of ourselves here. If you're already on your spiritual awakening journey and quite far down it, let's say, you've addressed a lot of your trauma, your core wounds, and you meditate already, and you've done lots of healing and growth work, and you're much more aware of your thoughts and everything else, then taking ayahuasca is not going to be such a shock in terms of the awakening process. It will likely much more be an assistant, a helper, a support, confirming perhaps where you're at and the path that you're on and the choices you've taken, and your intuition, and perhaps you just get to experience more of that in a slightly deeper way, maybe a layer under. And that's certainly what happened for me. I did 3 ayahuasca journeys back in 2021 with these lovely Incan shamans from Peru. Well, one of them's pure blood Incan, the other 2 are mixed, Incan with whatever else is in the gene pool there in Peru. And it was very powerful, very beautiful, and it came to me. Ayahuasca came to me. I wasn't looking for it, but it came, and I will explain all of that in another video, because also that's also very much about discernment. And if there is a call from a certain medicine, to know what that call is, rather than your mind telling you, I need to do this thing, or I should do this out of maybe an idea of lack, or because my friends are doing it, fear of missing out, etc. That's completely, not being called by it. Being called by a medicine is, it comes to you in a beautiful way, in a mysterious way, that you can't ignore, and you're like, okay, and it's just, everything is just laid out for you like a red carpet, just to walk into the ceremony, which is what happened with me. And I was like, okay, I'm not resisting. I received the medicine that this wonderful plant has to offer me, and so I did. I'm not saying you should do that at all. You have to, it's a case-by-case basis. Everyone is different. Everyone on a unique path, and what works for me doesn't mean it's going to work for you. You might be in a very difficult place or a different place, and you might take something like ayahuasca and it feel awful for you. So you've really got to just tune in, and you've got to be attuned to who you are. You've got to be attuned to your intuition. You've got to really allow that inner knowing to guide you, because the mad monkey mind will tell you all kinds of things. We can easily get into lack, into fear consciousness, into I won't be enough unless I do this because my friends have done it, or something like that, or it's just trendy, or you want to get attention. The mad monkey mind, the egoic self, might do things for very different reasons to what is real and what is needed and what is healthy. So that is another invitation to really tune into that discernment. So typical individual will be guided to an ayahuasca ceremony for whatever reason, whether it's being called by the plant, or peer pressure, or curiosity, or just thinking they need it. and obviously take the medicine in the ceremony, drink the medicine. It's usually, it's always an overnight, almost always, as far as I know, overnight ceremony. And that medicine starts to take an effect. DMT starts to kick in. Visions can happen. Feelings will come up. One might see things, hear things, channel information, remember things, have all kinds of insights and downloads, just have an overwhelming overflow of emotion. And it can be like, oh my god, just tears, or it could even be emoting to the point of catharsis and screaming. And I've witnessed that in ceremonies as well. There were a couple of participants who had been children in a war zone and had really traumatic experiences, and they came up in the ayahuasca. So there was a lot of screaming going on. I really felt, I didn't know what was going on because I was in my journey, but afterwards in the morning I found they showed in the circle. I found that out, and I was like, oh my god, maximum compassion. Wow, God, first world problems, in my case, right? Compared to, being a child from a war zone and have experienced tremendous trauma. So yeah, that. So again, it's like what is suppressed will come up, and if you haven't looked at it, then it might come up very radically, very quickly, and with a deep contrast. And that's where we're talking like, you might kind of break down, right? It's like breakdown kind of moment because you're facing things you've never actually faced before. Now, on the other hand, so Mother Ayahuasca is also known as the grandmother. So it is a very sweet, loving energy as well. But grandmother can also spank you, right? You've done something wrong, grandmother might spank you, and so that can also happen, right? So just be aware of that. So again, circling back to spiritual awakening. So it's very much the possibility that you have ayahuasca and you see beyond the 3D, you see beyond the veil, and you realize, okay, this is not, reality is not as I imagined it to be, as I was taught it, as I was programmed to believe it was. And it can start off a whole journey of investigation, of curiosity, of deciding, okay, I really want to actually nail what this reality is, because I've been clearly shown, it's been very real to me, that this physical 3D is not the only truth. And so that can be amazing. But it could also mean a breakdown, right? So you may have a heart opening, which is a classic also spiritual awakening symptom, if you will. An aspect of, oh, this is happening. Yeah, spirituality is happening. Compassion is activated. The heart center here is happening, is growing. There's an increased sense of self-love, acceptance, etc. And yes, but then comes integration, right? So you do the ceremony, right? You have your journey. You emote, perhaps. You have visions. You release. You let go. You have new insights. Ayahuasca will show you things. You may even go, okay, you may even get shown your future, or possible timelines in the future. And, it's not always accurate. It can be placeholders, your consciousness putting in placeholders for a person or a place that's like more of an archetype, right? So that can happen as well. And so, again, not necessarily literal. So this is the thing. And so if it doesn't happen the way that you were shown in ayahuasca, you might be disappointed, discouraged, and go, oh, well, I was shown that I was going to be with that person in that place doing that thing by this time, and it's not happened. So what's going on? Well, timeline shift. Time is elastic, guys. Newsflash. And it is also not as we perceive it to be in a linear way. It's perhaps spherical, cyclical, all of the above, none of the above. It is an amazing thing, and I like to think about it a lot, and perhaps we'll think about it more through this video. So, integration. is important. And what some people do is just go in and just go hard with the ayahuasca, and then their reality is completely changed, and then they're like ejected back into the 3D, back into their life, their work, their job, their career. And it can be really, really hard, because there's actually a massive amount of integration that's needed. And their old life, the life before the plant ceremonies, etc., plant medicine ceremonies, could be very much that disconnected 3D rationalistic life. And when they come out of doing a load of ceremonies, they're in a completely different place and complete different values suddenly, because they've reconnected with who they really are. And so being in that life can be really like some kind of weird crucifixion, because you're dealing with all of that toxic stuff that you were in before, because actually that's your life, and you actually then have to change it in reality, in the 3D. You have to make new decisions, go a new way, take a new path, and actually change, right? Actually rather than talk about it, actually do the thing and execute, and steer yourself according to your new understanding, your new vision, and your new values, and your new elevated sense of perhaps purpose, perhaps direction, perhaps connection with all that is, with nature, with spirit, with source. And so this is very, very, very important to know that integration is absolutely called for, and it might take months, years even, to integrate. And so that's a caution, really, for anyone who's watching this, who's considering it. It's very important to have that, especially if it's your first time and you're new to spirituality, you're new to healing, you're new to the journey, etc. So in my own personal experience, it was an adjunct to confirm. Ayahuasca was an adjunct to confirm what I already knew inside through my 30 years of direct experience, spiritual awakening. And for others, it's going to be different according to where they're at and who they are, and what kind of work they've done, if they've done any work on themselves before. So there are some thoughts around spiritual awakening and ayahuasca. I am, one of the things I love is the Divine Mother energy. And so for me, in some ways, imbibing the plant medicine ayahuasca was simply coming back to the Divine Mother, or the grandmother in this case, and it was just like communing with the Divine Mother, but internally, which was already very familiar with me, because I've been on my own Divine Mother journey for many years now, and that was an interesting thing in all itself. So it was like a mirror through this ceremony, through this plant, of what I already know, and I've already had multiple direct experience of, which is the Divine Mother energy, and also the embodiment of the Divine Mother energy as well in the physical, which is a whole other video, by the way. But that's, again, my own personal experience, and your relationship with your spirituality could be completely different. So this is just an invitation here, and I would love to hear your experiences through your comments on this video. Feel free to share any insights, anything you've experienced with your ayahuasca journeys, and with in relation to spiritual awakening and where you are on your path. And let's have the conversation going, because this is a discussion, it is a conversation, it is not anything absolute. And we all have our own unique experiences, and you are absolutely unique, and your journey is your journey, and mine is mine, and we can all participate in this grand experience of life together, journeying together on this spiritual awakening journey. So I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you found that helpful. If you'd like further support, or any support, I'm offering at the moment these gifted 20-minute activation calls, and there's a link in the description of this video to book yourself one. So go ahead, gift yourself one of those if you feel like you would like that support and that guidance. No obligations, of course. But yeah, if you would like that, then that's an opportunity that is available at the moment for a limited time only. Again, so please comment your experiences. I would love to hear from you. I do read all the comments and I reply as well. So yes, please subscribe if you haven't already and click the notification bell if you haven't done so. Or if you're watching this on any other platform, follow or do whatever you can. So if you're interested to know more. So that's enough from me. I hope that's been helpful. Ayahuasca is a powerful ally for those who are called to use it in moderation normally, and it's absolutely not necessary to use ayahuasca at all. And of course, the legal considerations in wherever you do it. So that's also another thing. I'm not suggesting that you break the law or anything else. I want you to actually keep within the law. So that's another aspect to all of this. I want you to do what's right for you, and that's it. End of story. And so trust in your inner guidance and your inner intuition. Love yourself. Know that you are infinite consciousness, and you are here for a reason. And there is a planetary awakening happening. There is a shift in consciousness that has been prophesied by many native tribes, cultures, books, and it's happening, guys. So of course that's up for you to decide for yourself. That's my reality, but check it out for yourself. Don't take my word for it. So you could also say that ayahuasca, the spreading of ayahuasca around the planet, is also part of this awakening journey that the planet is on. Just like yoga, which just blew up completely from nothing 50 years ago to everyone knows yoga, everyone does yoga, and it activates your consciousness, by the way. Oh, isn't that interesting? Anyway, I digress. Have a wonderful day, night, morning, wherever you are in the world. I've been Jody Dean. Also check my website, Jody Dean, JODYDEANE.co. Also, I'll put in the link to my podcast in the description. All right, blessings to you. Love you. Take care. Bye for now.